Welcome back, and straight we go to the phone lines. We have Omar Kongo from Nairobi. Omar Kongo is a former Nairobi City Commission chairperson. Good afternoon, Bwana Kongo.
You.
Go ahead.
Let me go back to the maize subsidy that many people are talking about. You see, the one we got subsidy during the election was just the last stretch of the election, and that was to induce the public to vote. You recall that? It stayed for a very, very short time, and eventually it was not even available. It was available in small pockets of the country. So subsidy, removing subsidy, the president has stated clearly that it will come back, but it cannot be easy to bring it back until maybe we have enough rains and we see what is going on. So the promise still stands. People are just quickly to judge the president over the few days. You recall he just made it the other days when the CS has come in place. It will be done. Mwangaza should really go ahead and convene a meeting with the MCS. But as your panel said, I cannot even say it better. They are hard nut to crack, these guys. You need to be easy. It's not like Kibwana. You remember Kibwana said, no, I'm going to disband the county, and I'm asking the president to do it. I think she should have good counsel so that it can be done. NSSF and HIF, I don't think there is anything wrong in increasing it. At least if you pay more, Fred, it is still your money. If you pay more on HIF, and I think NHIF, people should be paying more to supplement even the poor, who are if one gets sick, is able to get medical attention. Especially those with the super salaries, they should be paying a little bit more, I think. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bwana Kongo. Thank you so much for your brief comments. Next on the line, Fred Langat from Naivasha. Good afternoon, Fred.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you. Go ahead.
What I wanted to say is this. The current government has not made Kenyans to be happy, as they promised. Though, if you look at their manifesto, it was not even clear. These people campaigned on a populist narrative, which does not make sense to Kenyans. And I would like to tell Espon that these people in government are very slippery. You will not hold them accountable for the mistake they are going to make, because these people, they are very intelligent, they are very wise. They managed to study the minds of Kenyans, because when they were campaigning, they were not even clear. I didn't hear anything about the health sector, about education. If it was not only the issue of expanding CPC, but for Azimio, they had a very clear plan, but Kenyans did not give them chance. And what I want to say is this: the people, I can say masses are ignorant, because they were given opportunity to elect the right leaders, but the people who are elected to office are people who cannot even care about Kenyans. And some of the people who are in the previous government, they talked about this, and they say that if we are not careful, over 60% of the hooligans and wrong leaders will be elected. And that is what happened. And now we are now feeling the pain of our mistakes. And then number two, the issue of NSSF and HIF. So if I look at this government of Kenya Kwanza, it's like you want to punish the middle class people. And those are the people who contribute to the economy of this country. Because if you increase the NSSF and HIF to 6%, I think that is more punitive, and the Kenyans do not even have money to eat. But you see people, they want to tax people, they want to overtax. And they were telling us that, if you give us chance in the next 30 days, we will have rectify the economy, and now what they have done is something funny. And if Azimio was to win, I'm sure Kenyans now, the money, 6,000 that they promised could have been into their M-Pesa account. And Raila Odinga had already done the plan for that. All the logistics were already in place, but Kenyans did not give Raila a chance. But anyway, no problem. Let me finish about the issue of Meru. I need the people of Meru, the MCAs, to give Governor Mwangaza time to deliver on her manifesto. I wonder why we are criticizing Governor Mwangaza for appointing her husband into the docket of the youth, to be in charge of youth. And one thing I've learned about Kawira Mwangaza is that he's a person who loves her family. Because if governor was a man and he was to appoint his wife, no, people could not have talked. But when a man has been appointed by their wife, it's a challenge. Putting a security person to be a sister, there is no problem with that. I think Governor Mwangaza needs people who can trust them. And those are not official appointments. Those are just ordinary appointments. Aslan was not made to be a CEC. He was not made to be a CEO of the county. Those are just small jobs, just to make the governor closer to her husband. And I don't think there is a problem with that. Let the people of Meru and MCS give her time to deliver. Thank you, Bwana Fred. May you have a nice Sunday.
Thank you so much, Fred, for that. And yes, another example is President Yoweri Museveni. His wife, the First Lady, Janet Museveni, is a Minister for Education in Uganda. And we don't hear any noise from there. But I'm not saying it can apply anywhere else. Anyway, next on the phone lines, Kiremi Munene from Ruto. Very good afternoon to you, Kiremi. Go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon to you.
Afternoon to you. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to talk on this issue of Mwangaza.
Yes.
I'm a Marian but currently I came to Ruto the other day about this case of Mwangaza. We elected her and we didn't elect the husband. And now, number two, this case is in court, but when you are seeing all over in the media, in the social media, and also in the Raja media, that the husband is addressing the media, is talking anything he feels like, we feel humiliated, and even as Marians, we feel ashamed because what we expected is not what is happening right now. And now, we love the mama so much, and she is our governor, and we salute her. But now we don't want to hear again that about their family issues or anything to do with the private life. We are not interested in that one, and because this thing is in court, we are not interested on getting whatever is going on now. Let her have ample time with the MCAs, and I know they will talk. If she's saying that there are MCAs that are being used by some big men in Meru to interfere with her, I think that's not the way to go. She should first listen, and then, because this case in court, let it be in court, and if the husband can stop addressing the media and talking everything he's talking, we can't be worried that one. So we as Americans, we are waiting the court to decide, and then we continue with our daily activities.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kiremi Munene from Ruiru. He says he's a Meru resident as well, and I'm sure your message has gotten to the governor and the MCAs and the people of Meru. Let's give a chance now to Kevin Okech from Migori. Kevin, good afternoon. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Fred and team.
Good afternoon.
Well, Fred, I think we're talking about the hustlers, what we call the hustlers' promises. It is now clear, Fred, that the hustler faction really promised what they are unable to do. They did not have clear timelines. they did not have clear methodologies on how to achieve their real sweet promises. And it is now becoming clear, Fred, that with time, Kenyans are going to dig more deep into their pockets in order to survive, Fred. So what I really want to say is that this is a wake-up call for Kenyans. It is a clear indication that in each and every electioneering period, Kenyans have to really be careful with people who have got very sweet tongues, but really poor plans on how to achieve them. I want to speak about the issue of NSSF, Fred. We cannot, as civil servants, we are really going to have a clear guidelines with the unions and the other partners on how well this can be implemented, because you cannot say that we are going to increase a number of things such as the NSSF and taxes while you have no clear plan on how the staff salaries are going to be enhanced, Fred. So I think this is something that President Ruto should actually come with a clear plan that if this is going to be increased, then what happens to the salaries and what happens to other benefits? So we have to be clear about all this before all these plans are put into place. And finally, Fred, I want to speak about the issue of Meru and Marians. Fred, I think Governor Mwangaza is really taking this thing for a ride, and she's going to have a very hard time with the MCAs, because we have seen this with Kivuta Kibwana in the past, and we've also seen it with my friend Wambora in the past. So I think she should first sit down and decide what she wants to do for the people of Meru and how she wants to work with the elected leaders, because just stamping and fights are not going to help the people of Meru. Otherwise, I wish to finish my point by saying that there is no any position in our constitution as a first lady or a first gentleman. The difference is how you handle yourself with the people who are elected and how you manage your offices without really having to bring all these shenanigans, Fred. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kevin Okech from Migori, and that is our final caller this afternoon. Thank you so much to Kiremi Munene from Ruto, Fred Langat in Naivasha, and Omar Kongo in Nairobi for your contributions to the show. And I want to give my panelists an opportunity to give their final thoughts. Let's start with you, Raphael.
I think for me, it's just to remind the government that Kenyans are hurting. Cost of living is going high. I mean, it's going up. Prices of consumer goods are skyrocketing, and government needs to act robustly but also urgently. They cannot keep moving the goalpost. Most importantly, the promises were made, and promises must be delivered. We should talk very little about the past, give very few or no excuses, but now it's time to deliver. We have a government in place, and that is very, very important. And for the people of Kenya, I think, of course, we are all very, very concerned and scared because of the situation and state of affairs, but we're also very hopeful because Kenyans are very resilient people. And just to remind them that we must remain engaged. Voting is just one way of putting leaders into positions, but we must also remain engaged and hold them accountable, not later, but from day one in office. So we must remain engaged and hold this government accountable.
Thank you, Rafa. Hezbollah.
Yeah, well, I think a lot has happened in the past, and yesterday, as I was watching news, I saw Martha Karua and Honorable Musalia Mudavadi somewhere in Kakamega, and they had this rallying call for unity, saying that we are past the divisive politics and leaders now need to come together and work. And I think that really should be the spirit. Whatever formations you're going to have in 2027, most of political leaders who are adversaries in the last election will probably be together. But now that the elections are in the past, I think it's critical that we see politicians who all believe in changing the lives of Kenyans work together to do that. Secondly, the cabinet now is constituted, and I think there's a lot of hope that things will move at some very serious speeds. But even looking at what has happened, there are certain things that are very, conspicuous. One is that Kenya Kwanza has essentially gotten everything that they would want to form the government. They won the election. they pronounced themselves the majority in parliament. Actually, it was one of the principals making that pronunciation. They have the Speaker of the Senate and Speaker of the National Assembly. They have majority in the two houses. They had nominees for cabinet positions. They were all passed. With all the issues that they had, they were all passed. I may not have the qualified, the absolute privilege that Honorable Mbadi had to use certain phrases, but I must say that the government and the president have everything that they wanted in place to deliver for Kenyans. And there is no excuse right now. If it is numbers to pass any legislation that needs to be passed to enforce policy, they've got the numbers. If it is leadership in all arms of the government, save for the judiciary, they have. So what we need to see is this landmark thing that would change the lives of Kenyans, you know. And just like I've said, there's no excuse. But the thing is, there is recourse. That after 5 years, we are going back to either give them more years or we are going to show them the door. I think the basis upon which Kenyans are going to show them the door is predicated on what they're going to do between now and 2027. And Kenyans being Kenyans, Kenyans are a lot more critical. We remember this phrase, Maliza Uende. And because the threshold for delivery is very low, I would want to expect that the government, the Kenya Kwanza government, will take advantage of everything that they have to make a difference so that Maliza Uende does not come early for them.
Wow, interesting. Finally, this must wrap it up for us.
Yeah, the responsibility of President Ruto or the Ruto administration is to come up with a plan, which they have, and then now it needs to get top human capital. Attract, retain, and reward top human capital to assist him achieve the objectives, and also get the financial resources. The financial resources are going to come from the National Assembly by having a supplementary budget. So that one is in the works. And for the human capital is already done with his cabinet. A number of them have gone to office, and now he's looking at the principal secretaries and other advisors. And in my view, as he nominates people to take up the roles of the principal secretaries, maybe the retired head of the public service should come into mind, Mr. Joseph Kinyua, that how come Kinyua was able to serve all these administrations? What is that one unique thing that Kinyua had, that he was able to serve all the presidents, and then he rose to the top? So in my view, when it's going to nominate the principal secretaries, these must be persons who have got amazing talent, who are proactive, who are willing to hit the ground running and deliver on his plan. Because already the plan is around. Some people may have not socialized with the plan, but it's the manifesto. And then the financial resources are going to be allocated. Then the human capital is going to be allocated. And then we give them 1 year. Now, to expect that our president is going to deliver within 3 months on issues that require a bit of legislation is there some voodoo thinking. I know when you're running on an empty gas, you're suffering from food insecurity, you can't wait for another hour. But let's defer the benefits. So let's have Sukuma Wiki today, but tomorrow we are going to have pepper steak and whiskey.
Deferred benefits is how this must puts it.
This must be the government.
Yeah. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your considered opinions on this show. Dismas Mokua, political risk analyst. Stockholm syndrome. Esbono Willa, communication strategist, and Rafael Obonyo, public policy analyst, helping us understand what's going on in the world of politics. As Dismas put it, this week we expect the unveiling of the new team of principal secretaries. The president already has a shortlist from the Public Service Commission. He'll be unveiling about 45 to 49 new principal secretaries this week. That's big news coming up. Of course, in as far as the discussions we've been having today, the conversation continues online at KTN News KE on Twitter. Use the hashtag InsidePolitics. My Twitter handle is @FredIndemuli. Let's do this again next Sunday. Good afternoon.